busy people getting fit in Fulshear, Texas. Our aim is to help you look better, feel better, and perform better as quickly as possible. I'm your host, Bryan White with Blue Eagle Fitness and Nutrition. Welcome. Hey, what's up, Clancy?
Hey, Bryan. How are you?
Doing great. Enjoying this. I like the rain. I like the thunder. I'm one of those crazy people. I'm just doing everything I can to stay awake right now.
I am too. I love the rain. That's my favorite sleep sound.
Yeah. And you were saying in class today, actually, when it was like brutally hot today, that you don't like wind sounds, right? Or no, underwater. You don't like underwater sounds.
I do not like underwater sounds, and I do not like wind sounds while I'm trying to sleep. Wind sounds makes me feel like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, and underwater sounds makes me feel like I'm drowning and I can't breathe. So I
Okay. Well,
like
that's
medium.
bad when you're trying to sleep.
I like medium rain on the tent. That's the
Okay.
name of my sleep sound.
Medium rain on the tent. Wow.
Yes, because
Okay.
you can also get heavy rain on the tent.
Oh,
So
okay. Good to know. Good to know. Well, our topic for today has nothing to do with medium or heavy rain on the tent. It is about lifting heavy. So, we're interested in building muscle, burning fat, improving bone density, living longer, happier, healthier lives. In order to do that, you are required to eat more protein or eat sufficient amounts of protein. I say eat more protein because almost very few people, unless they're being intentional about it, are eating enough protein. Once we're eating enough protein, we want to make sure we are lifting heavy. Okay. Now, you are going to argue with me on the definition of heavy.
why would you ever think I would argue with you on
Well,
anything?
you have a tendency to argue with me when I'm coaching you in class, and I say, on this particular lift, you need to lift a little heavier.
Okay.
Okay, that's all I get is okay.
Yes. Yes, coach.
Now, in my defense, I do not always tell you to lift heavier. It is not always appropriate to lift heavier. In the times
No,
when
that's
we're
true.
looking to build muscle, improve bone density, lifting heavier is what we want to do.
Okay, so the people are going to be wanting to know why. Why do I need to do this? I'm just speaking for the people listening.
and
First
not
of
for
all,
yourself.
look, I'm talking for and asking and talking for my friends because
I love
they're going to want to know. You
Okay.
also mentioned, if we could just back up a second, you said most people don't eat enough protein, and I know that would be my first question if I was listening, is what's enough protein? Because now you just said I got to eat enough protein and I got to lift heavy. So if you
Yeah.
could just quickly tell me how
Yeah.
much
We'll go
protein I
quickly and
need.
we can hit more protein in another episode.
Yeah.
But just at a high level, we want to be, most people need to be eating 90 to 100 grams of protein a day. 0.7 grams for every pound of body weight. But for most of us, 90 to 100 grams is going to be sufficient, especially when quite a few people are only eating 50 to 60 grams. So roughly how much is that?
Mm-hmm.
Roughly speaking, 6 ounces of chicken breast 3 times a day would be sufficient. And we don't do that, right? You wake up, you eat a bowl of cereal with some milk. For you eat chips or whatever during the day, maybe a handful of nuts. So we've gotten 0 protein so far. For lunch, we eat a sandwich that had 3 pieces of ham on it and some cheese. So now we got 15 grams of protein. And for dinner, we do tend to eat protein heavy dinners, but now you're talking about eating, now getting 30 grams or 35 grams of protein for dinner, and you clock in 50 to 60 grams of protein, total. That's what I mean.
And
Right.
that is a problem because when we're supporting muscle growth and loss of body fat, we need, well, particularly for muscle growth, correct? Or
Correct.
why do we
Yep.
need the protein?
Okay. So when we work out, we cause microtears in our muscles, and those microtears get filled in with amino acids. Those amino acids come from protein. I mean, the proteins are made up of amino acids. When you consume protein, your body breaks down the protein into amino acids that get put into the amino acid pool in your body. As your muscles break down from working out, those little microtears get filled in with the amino acid pool, and that's how our muscles get bigger and stronger. That's how
And
we get that.
so you mentioned lifting heavy in the gym, which I
Yeah.
know I I've worked out with you as my coach, and yes, that is a true statement. You want us to lift heavy when we can, when it's appropriate. And so what happens if I'm lifting heavy, but I'm not eating the amount of protein and I'm breaking down my muscles,
Yep.
right? But I'm not eating the correct amount of protein.
Yeah. So the first thing that you're going to notice is you're sore all the time and your recovery slows down. You're not eating protein, the protein synthesis that happens in your body, building muscles, that improves our recovery, right? So you're going to make you feel better all around. I'm not talking about just muscle soreness. I'm talking about you feeling better as a person, day, 2 days, 3 days after working out. The second thing that will happen is you won't get muscle growth. So you cause those micro tears. You don't have enough amino acids in your amino acid pool in your body, and over time, the muscle tears just go back to where they were. So it's a lost opportunity you worked out, and there were other benefits to that working out. Maybe improving heart and lung capacity, maybe improving range of motion, maybe improving bone density, but we lost out on a full opportunity for muscle growth.
Yeah, that's I would hate to miss out on that opportunity,
Yes.
especially as hard as we work. I would hate to think I've done all this work and now I haven't eaten to support the growth because I'm looking for muscle tone, especially in,
Yeah,
later years. We're looking for that
absolutely.
tone.
Absolutely. So if you're looking to get toned, then you need to make sure you're eating enough protein and that you're eating enough fruits and vegetables. The fruits and vegetables and also protein sources, but mainly fruits and vegetables are going to come with those micronutrients, the vitamins and the minerals that need to support not only your life, but for all the bodily functions that help you live happily, right? Instead of poor and
Hmm.
miserable and tired all the time.
Yeah, and I've felt that way. I used to eat really weird. Like I would eat low fat, low carb. It was so
Okay.
stupid.
Yeah.
And as a result, guess what? I felt terrible. I was so
Yeah.
sore all the time. I couldn't, I could never recover. It was terrible. So I've lived on the other side of that. So I know it's true,
Yeah.
you
So,
know?
I mean, there are essential amino acids. Essential means you have to consume them. Your body does not make them. There are essential amino acids in order for you for your muscles to work appropriately. There are essential fatty acids that come from fat sources that you need to consume in order for your body to um, work the way that it needs to work. And then there are essential vitamins and there are essential minerals. So there are things that we need to eat, and there is not an essential carb, right? So it's not that we're against carbs. It's just that your body you don't need to eat a loaf of bread to live, but you do need to eat protein sources to live. You do need to eat fatty sources to live. You do need to eat vitamins and minerals to live. We don't need to eat
Mhm.
pasta and cereal to live. So it's not that we're against those things. It's just that we want to make sure that our diet, our nutrition is based on the things that we actually need to live, and then we can fill in the rest as we want and as we prefer.
Well, and it's a really important topic because as hard as we work out, and we've got people that are there every single day at the gym putting in a lot of hard work. So this is such an important topic because if those people aren't eating the correct amounts of protein and fats and everything, they're they are missing huge opportunities. And I think this is such an important topic that most people aren't aware of. They just think, well, I did my workout. Like, why aren't things changing?
Yeah.
But
Well,
let's
I
get
mean,
back to your
on that
your
topic,
original.
things aren't changing because actually things probably are changing. Two things. One is the change is going to happen slower than we prefer, right? We live in a quick fix society and we want it to be quicker than. And the second is we see changes, but we're always looking to get better, right? We don't look at how far we've come. Those are usually actually the two main things. I mean,
That's
so
true.
we did the Murph workout yesterday. We had about 50 people at the gym, and how many guys in particular? I don't know why I noticed more guys yesterday, but how many guys yesterday? I mean, look really good. I mean, right? Shoulders are broader, chests are bigger, arms are bigger coming out of their shirts. I mean, shorts aren't fitting the way that they used to before. I mean, there were six guys. In fact, there were other people came to me and said, "Hey, so and so looks really good." I mean, it's and even those guys, like they say, "Oh yeah." You know, I'm not there yet, or I've made some improvement, but not all that I want. Well, the reality is actually you've made a lot of improvement, and other people are noticing to the point where they're coming and talking to me about it. And I actually reached out to those
Well, I
guys and
think
said,
that's
"Hey,
true.
congratulations."
Well, I think that's very true because when you get in a group like that, you start to see kind of where you fall in the pack. I mean, it's true. And sometimes that could be good, sometimes that could be bad,
Well,
but we
I
had a
would
lot of
say
positives
I
yesterday.
think I think a lot of people looked around and noticed how fit our pack is. Not really so much as
Hmm.
where I fit in the pack, but you look around and go, "Hey, wow, yeah." I mean, we look good. I mean, so one example in particular,
Yeah.
one guy dropped 8 minutes off of his Murph time from last year,
Ooh.
and he just said, "Hey, yeah." Someone asked, "How did he do last year?" "Yeah, I dropped 8 minutes." And the guy next to him said, "Well, yeah, of course you did. You're not chunky anymore, right? I mean, you lost 25
Okay.
pounds in the past 12 months. Doing a body weight workout was easier,
Wow.
right? So those were kind of the things that happened yesterday that I noticed. So
That's pretty
back to
cool.
our topic.
Oh yeah, what's our topic?
Our topic is lifting heavy.
Oh
Our
yeah.
topic is lifting heavy. And the main thing I wanted to talk about was right in CrossFit, we lift heavy. And I think that's unsurprising to anyone who's listening to this. But what do we mean by heavy? Right? What is heavy to me is going to be heavy different than what is heavy to you, which is different than what is heavy to someone who's brand new and just joined Forever Fierce, for example. Even they need to lift heavy, especially they need to lift heavy. So I want you to tell me your thoughts on what do you think of when you think about lifting heavy?
Well, the first thing I think of is for myself. You're talking about me, right?
Yep.
Personally,
Yep.
not as a coach. Um, I know I'm strong and I know I can lift pretty heavy. I have a very strong upper body. And when it comes to upper body, I feel very confident. When it comes to lifting heavy and squats, I, for some reason, feel like I don't want to lift as heavy. And that's a move I should be like a no-brainer for a heavy lift.
Yeah.
But for me, I have less confidence going into, I'm just being honest here, going into my front squats and
Okay.
back squats than I do, say, pressing something heavy overhead. I just feel like I have more control. And so it's something I'm working on. Actually, I've been working on this for a while just to make sure my form is correct before I go, heavy on a back squat or a deadlift so that I don't hurt myself. I'm in self-preservation mode. That's what this is. This is what
I
this
love it.
is.
I love it. Okay. So in self-preservation mode, let's talk about how we want to define quote unquote lifting heavy. I'm using air quotes when I say lifting heavy. Self-preservation mode. In fact, almost everyone should be in self-preservation mode. The ones who don't have to necessarily be in self-preservation mode are usually teenagers who are growing. In the past month, they've gained 10 pounds and 2 inches, right? Their abilities have gone up. But for the rest of us, if we consider adults, especially those of us who have been training for a while, this is why we want to look back at history and what have we done, preferably recently. And we want to be around that number, right? If your 3-rep max back squat is 175 pounds, I don't want you back squatting 190 for 3 reps, right? At most, I want you doing 180. And I'd actually prefer you to stick at that 175. And maybe we have those tiny little white plates that are each 1 pound. Let's have you lift 177. Right. You've already proven that you can do it. So the likelihood of you getting hurt very low, because we know that's a weight that you have done recently. And we're just inching it up, right? What's 2 pounds divided by 175, is what? It's 0.5, 0.6%, right? So we're increasing your weight by 0.6% or so. The likelihood of you getting hurt is very, very low. This is why we collect, we try to put in our numbers into Wodify.
I will say this. I've worked at other gyms where they've had CrossFit programs, and there are no coaches like ours.
What do you mean?
There are no coaches like our gym that are so vigilant over form and making sure that you're not hyperextending your back, and that you're tucking, that you're pulling your rib cage down, and watching vigilantly. Because before I came here, I had a really bad view of CrossFit because people were getting hurt at the gym I was at before this. They were getting hurt all the time. And so I had a real negative view of it. And so, we're not like that. Our coaches are very careful with watching out and making sure, especially when you've got heavy weight on your back or deadlift or anything, that we're engaging our core. And, as CrossFit coaches, we know that's where everything starts.
Yep.
And so we're training our clients, our athletes, on how to do that. And, that should give everybody a lot of peace of mind if they're lifting heavy with us.
Yeah, I hope so, because it's more important for you to move well first than it is for you to lift heavy. Lifting heavy comes after we are moving well. And focusing on moving well, even while under a medium load, as opposed to a heavy load, that if we're focused on it and we're improving and we're getting better at moving well, it can be harder to get better at moving well under a medium weight than it is to lift poorly and increase the weight. Because it takes more body awareness, it takes more body control to move well. And that's a piece that we really focus on as coaches, is making sure that our athletes are moving well first, and then we can add weight. And what people will notice is that, especially if they've lifted before, they have these big numbers before, they'll notice that, okay, let's back off. Let's back off those big numbers that you did before, because your technique is not where we need it to be. You're not moving as well as we want you, as well as you can. So let's back off the weight. Let's get you moving better. And then you will blow through any previous plateau that you had. You can now that you're moving better, now that we start increasing the weight, you will be amazed at how much more you will be able to lift a few months from now. Maybe not today, but a few months from now.
And, everyone has to remember, we don't just go in there and pick up the bar and go, okay, let's throw 100 pounds on there and let's go.
We do not.
We do not do that.
No, we start with a PVC pipe.
Right.
And we start then we go to a barbell.
Right. Then we add
then we add a little bit of weight.
Add a little bit. I mean, we take our time and get warmed up. You don't just go in there and say, I'm going to do a 300-pound deadlift. Okay, let's go. And so we have to remember that, because a lot of times I think we look at the numbers, especially when coach is saying, okay, Bryan, your last, round, you did 385 pounds, is like daunting, can be daunting. Well, we don't start out at that weight. We work up to it. So when it comes to heavy lifting, we have to remember we're just getting warmed up to it. We're not expecting people to go in there and get the 50-pound dumbbells off the rack before they pick up the 10s.
Yeah.
So
good. Well, thank you, Clancy. I
but
appreciate
our
our
minds trick
conversation.
us.
What?
Absolutely. I said our minds trick us into
Oh.
thinking we can't do it.
Oh, yeah.
Because we see these big numbers.
Correct. And so we work up to it, take the little steps, and we get there.
That's right.
Well, thank you,
That's
Clancy.
right.
I appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate
We'll talk to you next time.
Okay.
Bye. You can get every episode of Busy People Getting Fit wherever you listen to your podcast or on YouTube. You can also reach us at busypeoplegettingfit.com. Until next time, thank you for listening.